Hey guys, D-Ray, LifeTelesales.com and LifeTelesalesMentor.com. Got the headset on today, obviously in the midst of working, and just seeing a couple of YouTube videos that I want to address something real fast. But first, if you enjoy our channel, okay, please click the subscribe button. Okay, if you want to be notified of any content we drop, okay, go ahead and click the bell at the bottom right-hand corner. All right, and remember this channel is strictly and solely to assist life insurance telesales agents to get to the next level by using certain systems and making their business run extremely efficient. Okay, so any agents, telesales agents out there that might think they might use some of this content on this channel to benefit them and add value to their career, feel free to share. All right. All right, so I want to talk about something that came out a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to try and keep my cool because I really believe there's a lot of um, influencers out there that are just irresponsible, to say the least. I'm going to break down this new FCC rule for you guys in in literally crayon form. All right, a lot of things that I've seen the last couple of weeks after this rule was a lot of fear mongering. All right. And some of these people that are making comments have been fined by the FCC, so that obviously they're I understand some of their points of view. They've cut checks, they've paid fines. All right, but there's other people out there that are just fear mongering. All right, just reading a publication and taking it as gospel. Okay, literally just fear mongering. Don't do it, you're going to jail and everything. It's just absolutely absurd to me how irresponsible they are to the people that follow them. Okay, really, and not really just get below the surface and really fact find and do their homework. Okay, they just and for some odd reason, I think that people that do that usually have a hidden motive. Um, they try and prevent people from doing certain things, and I understand AI. Okay, is not something the average agent should go out there and try and emulate. All right, because they will not do it right. Okay, but I want to go ahead and focus on the law that came out. Now, I'm not going to talk about publications. I'm going to about the actual docket. Okay, for that day. All right, and I'm gonna go through it just so you guys can understand what this law means, what are the do's and don'ts. All right, AI is not illegal. Okay, certain parts are, and I'm going to go into that. All right. Um, But again, it's some people are just so irresponsible and they don't do their homework. They don't go below the surface and really understand what's right and what's not because they don't understand. It's just uneducated, blind following the blind. So I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and make this smaller. Obviously, back on the 8th of February, this news release came out. FCC makes AI generated voice in robocalls illegal. All right. So we're going to focus on certain words in this. I'm not going to go ahead and go through this because I'm sure you guys all know what it says. Okay. FCC, okay, through their TCPA Act. All right. Which is an act that's been around for decades. All right. Looking at robocalls, pre-recordings, and things of that nature. Okay. So I want to focus really a lot on those two numbers. Okay. So I'm not really going to put much weight into this right here. I'm going to go to the actual docket. Okay. The declaratory ruling that was done on February 2nd, but was released on the 8th. I think this is really, really important. Okay, they're going to go into why they rushed this law out in the first place. Okay, has nothing to do with our industry at all. All right, but I think it's really, really important. Okay, introduction as artificial intelligence technologies emerge that affect the existing regulatory landscape that protects consumers from unwanted and illegal robocalls. All right, we take action today to ensure the consumers continue to receive the protection afforded under the TCPA Act. All right, AI technologies that can generate content such as artificial voice communication can be beneficial, but also pose new challenges to consumers. We take this opportunity to clarify the application of the TCPA to these technologies. Now, I want to focus on what illegal robocalls are, guys. Illegal robocalls are pre-recorded messages, okay, that dial thousands, tens of thousands of phones every single day. All right, they're robocalls. Okay, they're in a system that just continually robocalls. All right, those are illegal. Robocalls are illegal. Pre-recorded robocalls are illegal. Okay, there's no question with that. All right. People that do that shouldn't be doing that. I mean, it's just something that's the case. But I want to decipher the difference between that and what a certain real AI generation, real AI knowledge base agents and things of that nature. Okay, so again, again, this is not a bad thing. I mean, they're coming out and basically want to protect the consumer because there are a lot of scams out there. Okay, a lot of annoying calls, and stuff like that. All right. In this declaratory ruling, we confirm that the TCPA's restrictions on the use of artificial or pre-recorded voice encompass current AI technologies that generate human voices. As a result, calls that use such technologies fall under the TCPA and the Commission's implementing rules, and therefore require, here's the key, guys, the prior express consent of the called party to initiate such calls absent to either emergency purposes or exemption. All right. So again, require prior express consent. That's key right there. Okay, so those of you guys out there that do lead gen, do the right thing. I'm not talking about, guys, I'm not talking about robocalls and stuff. I'm talking about people that generate their own leads, okay, and use a opt-in form and things of that nature, properly putting opt-out mechanisms in place. Emails going out with unsubscribe or stop, or emails the same thing, unsubscribe buttons. Those are something you have to do. You have to have those barriers in there. Those of you that don't, it's just careless and irresponsible. Okay, and it could bite you in the butt. It's similar to, I just heard an agent. I was actually one of the YouTubers that said that they're talking negatively about this based off one publication um, that doesn't even show the publication, just a small corner of the screen. Death, die, destruction. Actually told using a cell phone is good in this business. It's not. If you're not recording your calls, you're not protecting yourself. I'm saying that because if you don't use certain mechanisms like the opt-out features and the calls and things of that nature, you're putting yourself in harm's way. And anybody out there that uses a cell phone to conduct business is just, you're a flash in the pan, man. I mean, all it takes is one client to lie and then get in touch with a carrier, or a client pass away, and then them do a death claim, needing an agent report, and something not happening correctly. If you don't have a recorded call, they will terminate you for cause. Okay, now if you get terminated for cause, within 12 to 18 months, every other carrier you have will terminate you. Okay, that's the result of you not calling. That's the result of you calling on a cell phone. I've never done it. Every call I've ever made has been recorded because it protects you. Okay, it protects you. All right. So let's get back on the topic. TCPA. Okay. Again, the background. The TCPA protects consumers from unwanted calls made using an artificial or pre-recorded voice. Okay. In relevant part, TCPA prohibits initiating any telephone call to any residential telephone line using an artificial or pre-recorded voice to deliver a message without the prior express consent of the calling party. Now, again, robocalls, guys. Calling people that didn't give them permission to call them. Okay, I agree with that. Totally not illegal, but I just don't understand how through the technology over the last few years, okay, and there's agencies out there and BGAs that implemented this stuff, okay, that are class acts and integrity and character. I just don't understand how agents just think that's not okay. It's still okay just to call people out of the blue like they're calling the telephone book. You can't do that anymore. Okay, you must have some sort of opt-in feature. All right, SEO leads, people Google search, right? TV call-ins, that protects you. Okay, clicking on an ad. Okay, going to a landing page. All right, seeing a disclaimer. By clicking see results, you are giving us permission to give you a call, text message, blah, blah, blah. Then they get a quote. They fill out information. Those are opt-in leads. Okay. Those are allowed as long as you have opt-in mechanisms. Okay. I'm going to get into that a little bit. As long as you have opt-in mechanisms. Okay. Again, text messages that go out, you have to have a stop or unsubscribe. Emails that go out, you're gonna need to have an unsubscribe button. Okay, they must go out. Okay, so telephone, same thing. I mean, there has to be an option. So if they opt in, they're giving you permission to call them. Okay, so again, exempt by the rule under the commission under the. Let me see here. Where was I? The message without the prior express consent. I'm gonna raise this, guys, so I can see it better. My eyes are. I'm getting old. Without the prior express consent of the calling party. Okay. Now I'm going to go down a little bit. This is pretty much outdated. This stuff we already know. I want to get to. All right, this is the real cause too, right here. For AI technology to communicate with consumers using pre-recorded voices, where this occurs, we conclude that the call is using or pre-recorded voice within the meaning of the TCPA. In reaching these conclusions, we agree that several commenters that the existing consumer protections under the TCPA apply to these calls. No commenter opposes these conclusions. Now, our finding will deter negative uses of AI to ensure consumers are fully protected by the TCPA when they receive such calls. Now, again, this all started, okay, let me see here. Again, as a result, callers that use such technologies must obtain prior express consent of the calling party to initiate such calls. Absent, again, if you don't need that express consent for emergency purposes, okay, those are exempt or exemptions. So again, it says this all over. This is now, guys. This is not a publication. This is not a news channel writing up something, spreading dirt. This is the declaratory ruling, okay, docket number, okay, from the FCC. All right. There's so many different parts of this right here where it states that as long as you give express consent, you can call people. Again, opt-in leads. Any of you guys that aren't doing anything other than opt-in leads, it blows my mind. Okay, it blows my mind. That's all I've been doing for years. Okay, completely protects you. All right, utterly protects you. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and let's see a definite definition of a robocall. Okay, because I think some people get confused. All right, they stretch robocall out and they think it's everything. Robocall is an automated call that uses recording instead of a live person. Recording instead of a live person. Okay, so that's something that's it's a recorded voice call. A robocall is somebody that's recorded. Okay, pre-recorded, because again, some of you out there that are spreading garbage and not doing your homework. A pre-recorded voice message is a recorded human voice message that the caller uses when contacting the consumer. Pre-recorded. Robocalls, they're pre-recorded. Okay. So again, having AI call people, and I'm going to get into that in a second, dude. Again, if you have an opt-in mechanism and you're following the rules of opting out, okay, you're not going to have any issues. If you don't do that, you're going to have issues. All right, that's something that I sit back. See, when I seen this first come out, I didn't make a video. I didn't jump in and ride the wave and all the emotion. I sit back and let the noise settle, and I watch for minds, like important minds in the industry, to give their input. I sit back and I decipher what's going on and what are the experts doing, okay, and what is the rebuttals that I see. I don't let emotion jump on everything and then rush out just to get. This is our society has trained us to do that. Just rush out, and it doesn't even have to be true. You just want to be the first one to say it, or you just want to jump on the bandwagon without really diving in the surface and really doing your homework. The funny thing is, all it really took was a Google search and 5 minutes of your time, and you would have got to the answers you needed. A trained monkey in the circus could have done that. So it just boggles my mind how some people on YouTube running their mouth, not explaining and digging deeper, okay, because it might change somebody's mind, okay, and also protect other people. All right, so it just doesn't make sense. It's irresponsible for certain people. Now, with that being said, I want to focus on this right here because this is really important. Okay. All right, so these guys are. Let me go ahead and get rid of this my face over here. These guys right here Okay, Oric. All right, these guys are the epitome of privacy attorneys, cyber data innovation, um, just a lot on the ball. Some of these. Just to give you an idea, this guy, do your homework. He's a federal cybercrime prosecutor. He knows the law in and out. All right. So we're going to go. This is the authors of this particular rebuttal to this law. All right, do your homework. Feel free to go and look at these people. Okay, go to their bios, go to their LinkedIn. These guys are powerhouses of the industry. All right, powerhouses. All right, people that know their stuff, know this rule, know this law. All right, so I'm not going to really focus on this too much. I'm going to go down to AI-generated voice calls require consent. What does the new AI-generated voice ruling actually mean? The FCC confirmed that the TCPA's restrictions on artificial pre-recorded voices encompass AI technologies that simulate an artificial voice or resemble the voice of a real person, cloning. Okay, that's basically cloning or audio deepfake. Same thing will happen with Biden. Okay, and I'm going to show you this in a second. All right, the TCPA generally requires a caller to obtain prior express consent before using an artificial pre-recorded voice in a non-marketing call to a cellular line. All right, now I can only speak for myself. I use AI generated agents not to sell, okay, to do risk assessments, ask questions, educate clients on the phone. All right, we have a substantial knowledge base when it comes to that. You can pretty much ask my AI agent anything about life insurance, and she could sit there and explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old with crayons. All right, and that's what she's trained to do. Okay, she's also trained to um, decipher through term, final expense, UL, every facet of insurance, life insurance. She has the capabilities of doing because we have well over 100 forms of data and audio that's was uploaded into the knowledge base. Okay, so again, we don't our AI agents don't call people and try to sell them and try to market our products. Okay, we don't call people to do that. They opt in because they did a Google search, came to my article, of which I've written over 500 of them. Okay, every facet of life insurance, and they fill out a form. Whether it's life and term life insurance for 60-year-olds, or burial insurance for diabetics, or burial insurance of Parkinson's. They Google search, they come to my website, they fill out a form. All right, I have a disclosure on there. Okay, and a disclaimer and a privacy policy. Okay, those are all things that are really, really important to have. So again, to go ahead, and if you are not getting their consent, then you're going to get into trouble. Okay. Here's the other thing: prior express written consent, a higher threshold than prior express consent before using an artificial or pre-recorded voice in marketing calls to residential or cellular lines. Now, you need written consent to do marketing calls. Okay. Again, if somebody opts in and you get their express consent before calling, okay, non-issue. Again, you must have opt-out features. You must have unsubscribe features in every single point of contact with the client. All right. Our AI agents, okay, if you say not interested after the second time, they say, okay, have a great day. They get you off the phone. Okay. Number two, AI generated voice calls must convey certain information and options. This right here is by far the most important thing. All right. The TCPA imposes a number of other requirements for calls containing an artificial pre-recorded voice, including a clear statement of the identity of the business initiating the call. In other words, if you have an AI agent, now again, guys, we're not talking about pre-recorded robocalls. We're talking about a knowledge-based artificial intelligence agent, okay, that is trained to be compliant, be on the ball, things of that nature. All right, follow rules. Okay, when they do call a client, they say artificial intelligence agent from insuranceforburial.com on a recorded line. They tell them the identity of the business. If you ask the AI agent what the phone number is to the corporate headquarters, the AI agent tells you a clear statement of business and phone numbers. On top of that, when they do an opt-in lead, the first text message and email they get has our data and phone number in it as well, unsubscribe buttons, opt out, things of that nature, stop buttons, and so on and so forth. All right, so really, really important. Number three, so again, a clear statement of the business phone numbers. All right. All right. And now an automated interactive voice or key activated opt out mechanism, allowing the person to make a do not call request, okay, if delivering a marketing message or otherwise placing a call pursuant to certain consent exemptions. Now, here's the thing. The voice of our agents, AI, if trained properly, are interactive. They can have a conversation, okay? Key activating points, just wanted to go ahead and show you this real fast. When it comes down to properly being A2 compliant, all right, and I'm just going to show you one number. This is the Joshua CRM, my agency CRM. Okay, you can actually have, let me see, where is it here? Here we go, right here. Now, again, when they call, I can add a feature right here, which is on to ensure more accurate call reporting. This feature mandates this receiver to press a key to establish a connection for a call. So if they hit the key, they can opt into the call. Okay, if not, my system will bypass it. So I'm just letting you know, like some of the systems that are in place that are proactive. Okay, again, there's certain rules of this new law, if you want to call it that, that there's certain restrictions that don't apply. Okay, and again, these are from attorneys, guys. These are high-powered attorneys that this is what they do for a living. They're about privacy, AI. I mean, do this again. Look at their bios. Okay, it's all you got to do is look at their bios. All right, an automated interactive opt-out mechanism and instructions on how to opt out of such calls in the future. Again, emails, text messages. All right, opt out. I mean, you must have those things in place. All right. What I wanted to focus on too, as well, is when it comes down to this is released on the 8th. Okay, this is actually from Air AI. These are predominantly one of the top AI generated voices. Now, again, guys, some of these companies, they make hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, their job is to do things correctly. All right, so again, knowing information by simply just doing a little research, again, a couple clicks of a button on Google, even get on the phone call. I've talked to a handful of attorneys about this rule. All right, because it's my business to know this. Okay, I'm a telesales agent. I need to know what to do and what not to do. Okay, I need to know what implications on a rule and the whole thing about that rule and decipher it. Again, there's a lot of irresponsible people out there that just run their mouth and fear monger. All right, and some, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them that do have cut a check to the FCC because they didn't do the right thing. They were doing stuff they weren't supposed to do, robocalls and stuff like that. All right, so that they're gun shy. They're gun shy. Okay, certain people on YouTube, I understand that. I understand you cut a check, you don't even want to go that realm anymore. But there's some people out there that are just irresponsible in the advice they're giving because it's not accurate advice. If you're going to give advice to people, give them all the advice. Okay, don't just choose to give them the advice that you want. Okay, just ridiculous. All right, so the implications. Okay, for the new rule, you cannot call leads that haven't given you consent to call them with AI. Okay, again, in your disclaimer, if it's an opt-in lead, and again, guys, if you're doing any kind of leads yourself, if you're not doing an opt-in feature, I don't know what to tell you. That's all I've been doing for years. Okay, if you don't do it, you don't take your business seriously. All right, and you need to go ahead and take 2 steps back and assess. All right. Again, the FCC did the right thing. Okay. Implication number 2: you cannot voice clone someone. In other words, you can't clone a voice and make it sound like somebody else. Okay. That's just what happened. Okay, and I'll go into that a little bit because a lot of this stuff that's going on right now has to do with politics. Has to do with politics. All right. FC did the right thing here. Okay, they're cracking down on the people that are doing scams, that are cloning voices, that are trying to extort money from people. Okay, criminals, guys. This rule's for criminals. Okay, AI, using the AI appropriately, the right way, is not criminal, guys. It's actually efficient for running your business, and it's also efficient for the client. It's not just for agents writing business; it's also efficient for the client. All right. Again, it's good what they did because it's going to go ahead and avoid scam calls. That's the most important thing. Okay. How does this affect you? What do you need to know? Okay. Why does it not affect the platform? Okay, I'm going to go into this real quick. Okay, those of you that do outbound and opt-in leads, for outbound calling, um, and then this is Air AI now. Outbound calling for outbound, we already require. They require to express written consent to receive robocalls from your company. So again, if you're doing outbound calls, you have to have an opt-in mechanism. You have to have it so they can opt out. It's like the same thing with text messages and emails, unsubscribe buttons. You have to give them an opportunity to opt out. Okay, if you're basically getting incoming calls, the act of calling into a number is a form of consent. If they're calling you, no harm, no foul. Voice cloning. Okay, this is a big deal. We do not allow any voice cloning. Now again, this is coming from Air AI. Okay, these are the companies that run AI agents, knowledge-based AI agents. Okay, so again, obviously they're in it for money, they're in it for profitability. I'm not being naive, guys. I'm just letting you know from all sides of the spectrum. Okay, from the powerhouse attorneys that looked at the law and the rule and basically stated right here what you can and cannot do. Okay, to the point of view of the people that actually make money selling you systems for AI, okay, and deciphering the FCC, the real FCC, the docket number, not this publication crap, not the stuff that you hear on YouTube like this. Where is it? All right, guys, let me go ahead and show you this right here. A lot of the stuff is political, guys.
Today now, the FCC has banned robocalls featuring fake artificial intelligence created voices. Federal officials are cracking down on the technology that experts say could undermine election security. You can imagine the ways in which that could really mess things up. The FCC voted to include the calls under a federal law that governs telemarketing. It says now that state officials have more legal tools to pursue robocallers who use AI-generated voices. This comes weeks after a fake call impersonating President Biden targeted thousands of New Hampshire voters.
Now, again, this is why this is about right now. It's completely political. Okay.
The FCC is making scam robocalls using AI-created voices illegal. The announcement comes after thousands of New Hampshire voters received robocalls impersonating President Biden before the state's primary elections. The agency will now have the power to fine companies that use AI voices in robocalls and block service providers that carry those calls.
All right. So again, this was back 12 days ago when that news just came out. Okay. Again, when you decipher this rule, again, this was something that was adopted and released on the 8th. Okay. Reiterate, guys. If you're getting express consent from the person that's opting into your lead for you to call them, different story. Okay. It's robocalls. Okay, robocalls are pre-recorded voices that just power dial and dial 1,000 people every single day. Okay, that's illegal. Okay, again, cloning voice is illegal. But having, as long as they have a opt-in where you can go ahead and opt into service, okay, and again, you have opt-in buffers for them to opt out. Okay, you're not going to have an issue. Okay, again, attorneys that specialize in this have deciphered this. Okay, deciphered this, and they know better than all of us. They know that better than a YouTuber that um, you know read an article and just death, die, destruction. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Just ridiculous. It's a shame that some people have to um, be irresponsible by not exactly telling the entire story and really taking the time to invest diving in and looking. All right. Also, guys, you need to have something that's in place to automate your business. Okay, I'm not going to get into that right now because it's not the right place. But you have to use technology in this industry, guys. Okay, the days of you just dialing from your cell phone with a piece of paper and a pencil, they're over. You can't do that no more. You can't run a business efficiently like that. All right. You have to have a legitimized business. You have to have a tax ID number. You have to have an LLC. You have to have a business address. You have to have an 800 number. Legitimize your business. People need to be able to find you online. If you Google your phone that you're using and there's nothing but robocalls that pop up, okay, or if you're Googling the brand that you have and you don't see anything, that's something that you have to be responsible for. Okay. If you love this business as much as I do, and I'll leave it on this note, and you're not really putting things in place that are, matter of fact, let me go back to my headset. And if you're not going ahead and taking your business seriously, then I don't have to tell you, man. It's just one of those things. I envision legitimacy. If a client wants to know who I am, they can Google me. You can any one of my numbers, my name, my business, my brands. You find out exactly who you're speaking to. You know. So if you're Google searching your phone number and nothing's popping up, that's how do you think how do you think your client feels about that? You know. Invest in yourself. Build a brand. You need to have a system in place. Okay. Again, the cell phone and pencils and a piece of paper, the days are over. You need some sort of client management system. You need automations in your business. Okay. It just helps you. You got to take advantage of technology. All right. AI is not a bad thing. Okay. AI is a great thing. All right. And it helps us efficiently run our business, not maliciously, efficiency. Okay, so again, watch who you listen to. All right, people that go in death, die, destruction usually have motives. I mean, look at the news channels that came out the day this happened. All right, made it sound so bad, and then you take a couple of days and you just sit back and you let the dust settle, and then you have the really brilliant minds come out and put their input on things. People that know this business, know the law, and how to decipher it. Okay. That's really the most important. That's what I like to tend to listen to. I like to sit back and watch everybody just fall over each other. And it's kind of funny. It's to get your popcorn out, enjoy the show. And then when the dust settles, then you put some input after you gather all the facts. That's the problem with this world nowadays, this country, is this everybody's so interested in jumping in to be the first one. Misinformation and everything else. We got us all trained and brainwashed. Me, I don't do that crap, man. I sit back and I listen. I watch. But today, in the midst of my morning, I felt the need to go. You know what? I'm sick and tired of seeing these YouTube videos about people that are just so irresponsible on not explaining the entire thing. Just their emotional opinion of something as if it's fact, without even going ahead and really diving deep into something and really understanding what's really going on. Okay, care enough to go ahead and do research and talk to the right people. No, they just take a paper clipping from a publication. Okay, I just showed you the docket, the actual docket from the FCC. Okay, that's exactly what's in there. All right, you can find it online. Okay, it's a Google search. All right. Again, AI is not illegal. Okay, if it's used appropriately. Robocalls, pre-recorded stuff, power dialers, yeah, you can't do that. You haven't been able to do that for 8 years. You're not supposed to be doing that. But certain systems, as long as they're not marketing and selling, okay, and you're using it the right way, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. Um, Again, robocall is no good. But if you're having it so where AI is used to benefit the client, benefit the agent, and it's a win-win for everybody, there's no harm, no foul. Don't make your AI agent sell things for you. You don't do that. All right. But if it's something like an appointment setter to schedule an appointment, and again, not marketing, and those of you that are calling leads, you definitely need to look into opt-in lead generation. That's what you need to do. Okay. You need to find somebody, or you need to have some sort of lead that has a disclaimer on it that you're calling. Okay, you got to be careful, guys. You can't be age data. Some agents still call age data, man. You're killing yourself. A lead is only live for 90 days. After that 90 days, you can't call it. All right. It's just something you guys got to take a little more seriously with your business. All right. Hope this cold helped, man. I just was steamed today. I seen a couple of videos. And I just got steamed, and I felt the need to do this. All right. Any questions? Put it in the comments below. I'm sure I'm going to get rifled by both sides. I'll probably get applauded. I'll probably get the finger, but I don't care. I think you guys need to know. Whatever you decide to do, that's great. But at least you know the sides of all parties involved with this. The people that make money selling the AI generated voices, attorneys that deciphered the law and really deciphered it and told you the ins and outs of what to do and what you can't do, and also the real docket instead of all these publications that you hear and news and stuff like that. Okay. Hope this helps, guys. Talk to you soon.